the Somnath Swabhiman Parv. 1000 years of India's resilience and resurgence. Joining me now on this India Today special broadcast is well-respected author, commentator, diplomat Amish Tripathi. Amish, welcome. What does the Somnath Swabhiman Parv mean to you, Amish, as a Shiv Bhakt?
I think one of the things that is truly commendable is the civilizational awareness of the Honorable Prime Minister. It was in the winter of end 1025, early 26 that Mahmud of Ghazni attacked that region of India, and on Jan 6th he destroyed the Somnathji temple. There have been foreign invasions which got through a bit earlier. The Arabs, for example, got through, defeated King Dahir, but the rebellion against them by the son of King Dahir carried on for decades. And within a century, the Arabs had been Indianized to a large extent, actually. Their coins had Arabic on one side, Sanskrit on the other side. In fact, many of the Turks killed the Arabs because they thought they'd become infidel-like. But it was the destruction of Somnathji which was a turning point. After that, foreigners ruled India, significant parts of India. First, the Turks, who we erroneously call the Islamic invaders. They weren't Indian Muslims, they were foreigners. They were Turks, what we call the Delhi Sultans and the Timurid Mughals, and then the Europeans. For 1,000 years, foreigners ruled us. Somnathji was perhaps that turning point. It is why there is a legend among many Shaivites that there was 1,000-year prophecy that there will be a decline of India for 1,000 years, and now the revival has begun. Gaurav, the sun rises and sets, and it does that daily, but the moon's rising and setting, from the full moon to the no moon, and no moon to full moon, takes much longer, right? It takes a one lunar month. And Somnathji is dedicated to Lord Shiva as the Lord of the Moon, as the Lord of the Moon God. So maybe this is that longer cycle of decline from Purnima to Amavasya, and now we are turning from Amavasya to Purnima once again. This is a revival.
And that sounds so heartening to hear, from the waxing and waning of the moon, and now the revival, the resurgence. But the significance of Somnath, why was Somnathji repeatedly targeted? This was more than just a temple town, wasn't it? When Mahmud of Ghazni attacked, the stories he'd heard from those Arab traders, tell us those stories, tell us about the splendor and grandeur of Somnathji.
All our temples were central to our way of life. As Dinah Eck, an American scholar, had said, India was not built on the power of kings. It was built on the footsteps of pilgrims, and which is why pilgrimage towns are so important to our way of life. People from across India would gather at Somnathji, at Kashi Vishwanathji, at Rameshwaramji, at Kedarnath, across India, and this is how the threads of India would get enmeshed with each other. So these pilgrimage towns were critical culturally because they built the unity bottom up, not top down. Secondly, they were centers of excellence because they had educational institutions. You had so many other ways of revving up our culture out there. So if you attack these places, you destroyed much of our education infrastructure as well. Thirdly, they were centers of wealth as well. Because many traders would donate money to these temples. The temple would, and Sanjeev Sanyal, the brilliant economist and historian, has written on this, that our temples worked as banks. They would lend money to traders, which is why we were the greatest traders of the ancient world. That money would come back, and the temple then would use that for dharmic causes: free food, free education, famine relief, etc., etc. Right? So there was always a lot of wealth. When they attacked this place, they ended up destroying our economy as well. Hurting our economy very badly as well. It was a tragedy of epic proportions, and not just Somnathji temples across. You find across North India, Maharashtra upwards,
Yes.
you find very few ancient temples. To find really ancient temples, you have to go to South India. They were all destroyed by these
Absolutely.
invaders. But we are
In
back.
fact,
We are rebuilding them, and we are back.
K. M. Munshi, he mentioned that in 1947, when that effort to rebuild Somnath temple was happening, that for 800 years you haven't had a temple of this grandeur that they intend to rebuild the Somnath temple. As you very rightly point out, Amish, it's a place of education, learning, culture, history, and also economy. But was Somnath targeted only because it was a great place of economy, trading, the seafarers came there, or was it to destroy the Sanatan Dharma, where Mahmud of Ghazni attacked it, or when the Khiljis attacked it, or when Aurangzeb had it attacked? Was it to destroy just a place of economy, or was it to destroy the Sanatan Dharma, Amish, in your view?
Gaurav, there are some who claim that it was just about money. Money was involved, no doubt. But there are some who claim that it was only about money. That is not true. All you have to do is read the records that the invaders themselves left. You don't have to read records of us, of our ancestors who were the ones suffering. The invaders themselves, in various texts, Tariq-e-Farishte, various other texts, Mahmud Ghazni himself spoke of him being a Ghazi, of destroying temples as a service to his
Butchikan, yeah.
interpretation of his religion, and took on the title. There were various who took on the title Butchikan, including and across India. But was actually the Turkic word for idol, and it was derived from Buddha. Actually, the Turks used to be Buddhists. They converted to Islam quite late. So there was certainly a religious angle to it, and they themselves said it. One more point, Gaurav, that there were many among Somnath, many of the non-warriors, the traders, the common people, they had gone to the Ghazni army offering to give money. That please don't destroy the murti, it is precious to us, take all the money that you want. He refused. If it was just about money, he should have taken that money, right? They said they would continue to give tribute for years in the future, but he refused that. And in fact, I've written of that in my book as well. The Chola Tigers and Legend of Suhel, both of them are built around the vengeance that the Indians took after Somnath Ji. So I mean, the his motivations are clearly there in their own words.
And when this Swabhiman Parv is commemorated or observed or celebrated today, the message also very clearly is that Indians or the Sanatan Dharma followers or the sons and daughters of this soil, they did not take this lying down. We were not a defeated people. We fought back constantly, something that maybe a section of historians did not teach us, but we were constantly fighting back, weren't we, Amish?
Gaurav, we are the only pre-Bronze Age culture that is still alive. The invaders who came here, primarily the Turks and then later the Europeans, they went to various other parts of the world. They destroyed the high point of Arab culture as well, the Mongols and the Turks. It was the Abbasid Arab Empire. They destroyed much of Eastern Europe. They attacked China. We're among the few pre-Bronze Age cultures that are still alive. The same invaders who destroyed civilizations across the world. Why is that? Because our ancestors were not weak or we need to know that they weren't weak or cowardly. They were the toughest buggers around. They're the only ones who kept fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. I've said this repeatedly. किसी ने हमारे संस्कृति को हमें खैरात में नहीं दी है. हमारे पूर्वजों ने लड़ के इसे बचाया है. अपना खून बहा के इसे बचाया है. We are descendants of among the bravest of the ancient people. We must remember that. And another point, Gaurav, that is very critical because at times this is used to create internal divisions today. The same historians, they don't call the British colonial rule the Christian invasion. They call the Turkic colonial rule the Islamic invasion. They try to create confusion that the foreign Turks who attacked us and they're trying to confuse them with Indian Muslims. And we must differentiate between that. This was not a
Absolutely.
Hindu-Muslim fight. This was an Indian foreigner fight. Those were foreigners. They were Turks. Our ancestors were very clear. Chhatrapati Shivaji used to refer to them as Turukta, which is Sanskrit for Turks, as did Krishnadev Raya, as did many others. They were foreigners, and we are descendants of among the toughest of the ancient peoples. We should be proud of who we are. Our back should be straight. Our head should be held high.
The fact that we're able to follow our religion and our way of life today is because of those sacrifices that were made. And Amish, stay with me. These are live images that have just come in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi for that roadshow. For a moment, I want to go full frame on this. Take a look at the Damrus at the Prime Minister, flanked by the Chief Minister of Gujarat and the Home Minister of Gujarat. This is the Swabhiman Yatra, the Swabhiman Parv. The horses are all ready. Remember, we Bharatis or the Bharatvasis are all a martial race. We fought, every one of us. It's not either the Sikhs or the Jats or the Marathas or some. Every Indian, irrespective, Amish, of his caste, creed, sect, sex, religion, every Indian fought for Bharatvarsh, and that's a message that that some historians didn't want us to have, Amish.
I think. Hello. Sorry. Yeah. No. I think there is. There are various attempts that were made to divide our land. First, an attempt to show that India didn't exist as a nation before the British, which is actually not true. I've spoken of this often earlier. The concept, the cultural unity of India certainly existed in ancient times. The Vishnu Puran says, Uttaram yat samudrasya himadris chaiva dakshinam varsham tada bharatam nama bharti yatra santatihi. That north of the ocean and south of the Himalaya lies the nation of Bharat, and there live the descendants of Bharat. The Vishnu Puran is at least 2,500 years old. So we were a nation. And on the bravery of our ancestors, there is no doubt. They were among the bravest people around. But Gaurav, the sad truth that we must acknowledge also is there was a lack of unity among our ancestors. There are many good things that we can learn from our ancestors, but there are some mistakes that they made which we should also learn from. Regrettably, there was a significant lack of unity. We never had a shortage of traitors. How do we ensure that we don't repeat those mistakes of our ancestors?
And as we look at these images, Amish, of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on that Vijay Rath, the Swabhiman Rath, where he's, waving to thousands and thousands of people on either side of the road, the Damru that you hear, the Shanknath that you hear. What's that message, Amish?
That Lord Shiva is eternal. For those of us who are Shaivites, the sound of the Damru is very rousing. It's like a call from our Mahadev. Wonderful to hear it. And Lord Shiva doesn't differentiate among anyone, high born, low born, whatever community you're from, whatever language you speak, male, female, transgender. He doesn't differentiate at all. Come to him and he will, and be good, you do good karma and he will bless you. And that is, that is my prayer for today, all of us Indians. I think it's a wonderful time to be an Indian. We are perhaps among the best time in the last many centuries to be an Indian. Our country, our motherland is on the rise once again, and it is critical that all of us Indians remain united at this very critical moment. If Mother India prospers, all of us will prosper. And if Mother India doesn't do well, there won't be one group which will do well. It doesn't work that way. We must be united.
That's a very significant point to make there, that in the past, while we were all brave, one thing that invaders were able to defeat us at times, despite the resistance, was the fact that we were not united. If Indians stand united in the face of what adversaries are doing, and even today, the manner in which you have adversaries either on your northern borders, on your western borders, those in an ecosystem in the west that may try to destabilize you, if we stand united, Amish, they will fail. But Amish, describe to me the emotions of the sea of saffron that we see at Somnath today, on horseback, on either side of the road. Mandir mein ghante, the Shanknath, the Damru, the Dhol and the Nagadas, Amish.
Gaurav, the Hindu way of life is a life of public celebration, is a life of spectacle. We love our festivals, and particularly those of us who are Shevites. We enjoy music, we enjoy dance. That is what our Lord was like. Saffron is a sacred color, the color of purity, the color of Agni, and the color of, frankly, detachment as well, which is why many monks wore saffron. So those who work